Hi friends, host Eric here. I was talking with famous people. I was reading this article in Vanity Fair by Nick Bilton. It says, our society will one day view our infatuation with Twitter, Facebook, and the like as a passing, often destructive fad. My initial response to that was, that's nonsense. But I kept reading. They talk about Facebook being used to game the elections. They talk about Twitter. He says he stopped using Twitter because every time he used it, it would make him feel sad, angry, or something else. So the thing about this is, I also had that phenomenon with Twitter. Twitter made me sad, angry, or anxious. I can't recall the last time I looked at social media and felt happy afterwards or even enriched by the experience. Yes, we've all heard this before. People abandon social media, the platforms are doomed, yada yada yada. But I do believe this time is different at the beginning of a massive shift, and I believe it's the fault of these social networks. Whatever that means. One of the problems that they act like drugs, give you a dopamine hit, exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. Well, that doesn't explain why it's different this time. Then there's the biggest reason why people are abandoning platforms. The promise of connection has turned out to be a reality of division. We've all watched the way Donald J. Trump used social media to drive a wedge between us all. The way he tweets his sad and pathetic insecurities out to the world. Okay, so interesting article. As somebody who has a channel that subtitle, which is actually social media, I feel interested and perhaps qualified to comment on this. I'll tell you that I engaged in lots of social media platforms prior to this one. I'm not in the room with the people in it right now. I'm in this other room without a bot, and it's a second room that we really need to get rolling up again with the bot again and stuff like that, so we have 2 live streams going. But it's nice to have a room that's empty that I can make videos in sometimes. It's not why it's like this, it's just like this. But anyway, this platform here caused me to more or less stop caring about other social media platforms. Obviously, because it's my thing, it's not indicative necessarily that it's better. It's just that, not necessarily anyway. But I mean, the thing is, I'm very bad at TE, or I'm not very valuing of TE. So it had to be actually more fun than other social media platforms to eliminate my need to engage in those other ones. I still post things occasionally on Facebook. I don't have this guy's experience of feeling sad or whatever when I check Facebook. I sometimes smile, and I just don't think much of it. It doesn't matter a whole bunch. I think the basic problem with social media platforms is people aren't actually talking to each other. They're doing something else. Text by itself as a communication method is, well, it's limited. Everything's so careful and polished, precise, or not careful, unpolished, sloppy. You know, people are not how well they write. They're more complicated than that. So it's just somehow not adequate to have text only. Now, granted, live chatting text is a bit more meaningful, I think, because you can have some back and forth. You can respond to some questions, yada yada yada, in a way that's it feels more live. It feels more interactive. But ultimately, I think social media is the documentation of the self for the consumption of others. And my life is very much documented here on YouTube. A lot of my friends come from this community, and they too have much of their lives documented here on YouTube because they're in here talking about shit all the time. It comprises a substantial amount of their lives. And mine too. The cool thing is, it's all recorded. It's not really parsed out for us. It's not like it'd be great to have an app that goes through and finds highlights of myself, right? And strings together a video of all the cool stuff I said or whatever. And it relates it back to my central themes and organizes it by whatever, So that does all the fucking SI shit for me. That's what I want. I want Magic Sky Friend. I got this, which is a very, very primitive form. It's like the raw material for Magic Sky Friend without the Magic Sky Friend, basically. But it's a remarkable source of interest and amusement from a perspective of seeing what happens. It doesn't really have any designed purpose except to provide everybody a discursive environment where all the conversations are recorded and uploaded automatically to YouTube. And how that ends up functioning is something that I guess everybody uses it for their own reasons. People like to watch themselves, and I'm of the mindset that the environment optimizes the people who participate in it. Anyway, get back to the social media thing. Is that I don't know if I buy this guy's shtick about social media dying, these platforms dying, or whatever eventually, or not. But I do believe that if it is the case that people will move away from massive platforms of for self-expression purposes like Facebook, and maybe utilize it more for shopping / money transfer / messaging, which is very different than for self-expression. The reason will be because no platform truly embraces the expression of the self while concurrently creating media objects, while concurrently including one part of a real community of people who actually know each other, like our friends for reals. It's different. It's cool. I'm pretty stoked about the way shit is played out like that. Like real friends and stuff that come from the internet, but they're more present in my life than any of my friends that I met around here. I mean, it gives you the opportunity to meet and hang out with and talk with people who you really like, and they really like you, and that are similar to you, and have similar tastes, and are by habit, nature, circumstance, or whatever reason inclined to be deeply connected to you that in ways that aren't necessarily going to be found in random splays of population like the people you grew up with or whatever. Anyhow, I mean that's where you really get connected. That's what is internet supposed to connect you with people. But being on the same bulletin board or something, where being being in the personality cafe forum or something like that. It's just I need more social interaction. I need more real social interaction than that. It's not real enough. It's too removed, too abstract, too, I don't know, polished, perfect, non-optimizing. Yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this whole thing. And thank you for watching Talking with Fans, people. Feel free to join us in this room or room 2 where there actually are people right now. Anytime you'd like. And, if you feel like asking me questions or something, I'm usually around here and happy to talk with anybody. Always interested in meeting new people. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. And stop raping babies.